Hello, everyone out there. My name is Yoji Cole, Business Development Manager for Vendo. And today we have the pleasure of speaking with Yanni Hufnagel, CEO and founder of Lemon Perfect, an incredible enhanced water brand. So Yanni, hello. Thank you for joining us.
Yoji, thank you so much for having me on.
Excellent to be talking with you. And hey, we got a couple guys with Y's starting off their names, so we're doing well.
I love it.
Hey, so everybody, Yanni has a very interesting story. He's, and Yanni, correct me if I'm wrong, but not the typical, serial entrepreneur. Yanni came at it from a different angle, so to speak. You were the assistant men's basketball coach, and I'm just going to read down the list here, at Harvard, at Vanderbilt, at UC Berkeley, at University of Nevada, and then all of a sudden, boom, Yanni decides to become the founder of Lemon Perfect. So tell us a little bit about that. How did you go from men's basketball coach, where it looks like you're in line to become a head coach somewhere, to, no, you know what, I'm going to veer left a little bit here and, start Lemon Perfect? How did that happen?
With a single step is the answer. I'm still coaching a team today, just a bigger one, with talent that's just a little bit more geographically spread out than everyone in one locker room. I coached college basketball for 10 years, started as a graduate assistant in Oklahoma, the University of Oklahoma. From there, went to Harvard, Vanderbilt, Cal, Nevada, and the story is a crazy one. I'm at Nevada and I'm on a recruiting trip to go see a player named Eric Poulsen at Santa Rosa Junior College. And on the way there, I stopped at a Starbucks on the side of the road in Petaluma. And in that strip mall, there happened to be a sports nutrition store. And I said, you know what, it's a doubleheader. Let me go grab a couple of protein bars. The man working behind the counter, his name is Matt Cooper, is a dear friend now. We got to talking and he said, my dream is to be a sports nutritionist and a strength coach for an NBA basketball team. I said, we exchanged numbers. A couple of weeks later, he sent me the draft of his book called The Ketogenic Diet. In the back of Matt's book were all these sample meal plans. Every day started by drinking organic lemon water. So I said, okay, Matt, I'm searching a little bit. Let's do it. I'm in A through Z. And I hated it. There's one Whole Foods in Reno, buy an organic lemon, cut the lemon, squeeze the lemon, juice all over the place, bland taste. And fast forward, I'm in the locker room a couple of weeks later after that, and all of our players and coaches are drinking Bai. Remember, this is 2016, so at the height of their real scale, there's a 7-Eleven across the street from the locker room in the arena. And I just had a moment, I said, hold on, can you take the flavor of Bai and combine it with the nutritional deck of organic lemons? And that idea, this idea of great flavor that's good for you, has actually served as the foundational bedrock of our brand since day one. And Yoji, just to fast forward, it's not like I said, oh my God, here we go. But when the season ended and I was in Santa Monica having lunch with a friend, and we were talking about this idea after the season. He said, anything that you can do that can capture a piece of someone's daily routine, what they do in the morning when they first get up, what they do at night when they go to sleep, or any point B, C, D, E in between is worth going for. And I said, let's do it. We've got the morning drink. And that night I Googled beverage formulation, and that was May of 17, and I haven't looked back since. And that's a little over 4 years ago now.
Yeah, it's so tough, I think, in that beginning stage to really go from that idea, that conception, to actually manufacturing the product. Can you talk a little bit about that? Was that difficult for you, or did you just immediately find the right manufacturer and you were like, boom, let's go?
A lot of sleepless nights and a lot of dark days at the beginning is the answer. It was almost an impossible proposition, is the truth. While there are a lot of similarities today and a lot of parallels from my coaching experience, at the beginning, I had no idea what I was doing. And I dealt with several challenges. The first beverage formulator that I went to laughed me out of their lab because at the beginning we were an HPP product, and I was so guarded about the idea. I didn't tell them really the extent of the idea before I walked in. Company in Louisville, Kentucky, and I walked in with a suit and tie and it was like a board like this with like all the negotiables and the non-negotiables, and I said, okay, here we go, we got the next big, and I was so dejected walking out. It was actually exactly 4 years ago. It was right before the 4th of July, 2017, and Yogi, sometimes you just gotta believe. You gotta put one foot in front of the other, and you just have to figure it out. And the truth is that we did. What I knew enough at the time was we had to create something that tasted great, and we had to do it in a way that would check the relevant consumer boxes from a nutritional perspective, low calorie and lower zero sugar. So I knew enough to start there, right? We wanted to create something that was deliciously refreshing, if you will, that served as upgraded hydration with functional benefits, right? So organic lemons.
Yes.
And we got there, right? And then like when you think about products, I also have an understanding to, just sometimes walk down, Main Street USA and figure out what's working. So from the very beginning, we've looked at what Starbucks is doing with their refreshers, what Dunkin' Donuts is doing with their refreshers menu. We've looked at we've looked at vitamin water for flavor inspiration, for ingredient inspiration. We've looked up and down different aisles of Whole Foods and Walmart and everywhere in between for inspiration. So while we've certainly written a different book, we've taken inspiration from everywhere around us to try to create a product that no one can poke a hole in from a flavor perspective or from a nutritional depth perspective.
Yeah. Did you, in the beginning, when you were, it takes money to make the product, and did you, do the friends and family type of fundraising, or were you able to tap into, a broader network? How did you create the product first and then present it to people, or did you present the idea and then create the product? How did that work?
So the product first, and I didn't make that much money as a basketball coach, and so I depleted my entire bank account and then some. So thank you, American Express, early on, to create the initial product, which was it was Lemon Perfect, which was just lemon. There was no actual flavor. There were no SKU extensions at the time. In fact, one of our investors who's been wildly successful in the consumer space early on sat me down and he said, "How are you going to create a multiple SKU environment?" I said, "A multiple what?" So that gives you an understanding of where my understanding for all things CPG was at the time. But yeah, no, I was able to use my own resources to get the initial product, which came in big half-gallon jugs, and then I bought little containers on Amazon, little 4-ounce bottles on Amazon, and that's what I used at the beginning. And when my bank account went red and my American Express balance went, to the point where I couldn't pay the balance off, at the end of the month, I called up one of my VC friends and I said, I need to raise some money. And he said, okay, let's do it as a convertible note. I said, a convertible what? You know, that was fall of 2017. My first meeting was in Naples, Florida, and it couldn't have gone worse. I got back in my friend's car who drove me there, crying and trying to figure out if I was going to go back and coach basketball the following season. I think that was a Monday. On Friday, I had my next meeting with a friend of a friend on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And when I sat down with him, he said, I absolutely love this. I love you. I'm in. Let me just check with my wife. He called me that night. He said, I'm in for $50,000 and I want you to meet my friend Joe. And I think we got 40 yeses in a row. The original convertible note was for $600,000. We ended up raising $1.2595 million from 40 incredible angel investors. And what that allowed us to do was make $1.2595 worth of mistakes. But we were able to launch the brand in Southern California, and we had some really, really good early data at Erewhon and Bristol Farms and Lazy Acres in Southern California. We were relentless. I mean, we truly were a mile deep and an inch wide early on. I got fortunate that I met the right people in Southern California that helped us really incubate the brand. I got my PhD in beverage, or at least year one, and we were able to do it with fractional resources before we started to hire full-time, really in year one or year two. It took me a year to get the product to the shelf. We changed our packaging before we even launched the brand, which was probably the biggest decision that we ever made. And then we were able to use that early momentum to raise some more capital after that. But
what you were saying, to go back to what you were saying earlier about, you know, hey, put one foot in front of the other, just keep going until you find that breakthrough. And that breakthrough was the friend in you know, Upper Manhattan saying, I'm in, and then they were able to open up that door. But had you not done all of the foundational work and believed in let me just put the one foot in front of the other, well, that might not have happened, right?
Yeah, you have to have resolve. I mean, to start any business, you have to have unbelievable resolve. You have to have an unyielding enthusiasm and passion for the product itself. I don't think there's a person walking this earth that drinks more lemon perfect than I do. I mean, I am absolutely obsessed with the product, and believe that the reason why I walk around with such energy every day and feel good is largely driven by my lemon perfect consumption. So you have to have, you have to be more obsessed about your product than any other person.
Right.
You got to be able to sell a dream and a vision. I'm not a believer that you should ever start anything unless you feel like at the end of the road, whatever that is, you can create something that truly can create impact, drive shareholder return, founder return, change people's lives, both your own people and anyone that consumes or uses your product. That intersection is powerful. That, you know, that when you start a business or a business like ours, not only do you have a chance to help manufacture return on capital, but you can give your people an experience, a professional experience they couldn't get anywhere else.
Right.
And I mean, we have 56 full-time people in our company today. That's 56 families that we get to impact positively. How awesome is that?
Yeah.
I mean, our people wake up every day and they do backflips, I think, I hope, when they get out of bed, because they're really genuinely excited about what we can go build and the impact, the health impact that we can make on the American consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think you got to have some inputs that make it really exciting to go start a business and build a business. And we have those, right? But those are the boxes that I would check. I mean, you know, before you jump into something.
Yeah.
The finish has to be able to be a big one. It's too hard, you know, like, and it might not be economic impact, it might just be, you know, people impact. But you gotta have something that you can go chase.
You you were in Erewhon and other health food stores in the Southern California area. Let's talk a little bit about your growth, because I mean, your sales increased by 809% between February and July of 2020. From what I read, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, and now you guys are in retail, and talk a little bit about, you know, where people can find you. Of course, you know, there's Amazon, the Whole Foods, right? And the Erewhons. Where else can people find you, and how have your sales grown now?
Yeah, we'll have more than 10x our business from 2019 to 2021. You know, only 1% of beverage brands ever crossed $10 million in annual gross revenue. We will smash that number this year, which is only our third full year of business. Our first full year of business was 2019. 2020 saw incredible dislocation from COVID-19. We were able to fight through it. We beat our guidance that we had given at the beginning of 2020 by 25%. And that was with, you know, the impact of COVID-19. So we feel very good. We think the business has a chance to more than double in 22 as we expand our distribution and bring new consumers into the brand. We are in retailers now today across America, Publix, several Safeway banners. We're in multiple regions of Kroger, 7-Eleven in Southern California and the Northeast, regional chains and banners in our core geographies. So really Maine to Florida and Seattle to San Diego, down into Texas, especially in the Austin area with HEB. Our Amazon business is on fire. We are now the 13th ranked flavored water, which is, we've been on the platform for a little over a year now. It's unheard of. Almost 2,500 reviews. And our .com business, lovingperfect.com, continues to grow very materially week over week. So, you know, Yoji, what we have is a product that when people try, they come back. It's very sticky. We've got big TAM. I think the unique sell story for us, or you know, I guess brand stories, is we're seeing turns everywhere from Whole Foods to Publix, and soon Walmart, and everywhere in between. So when you have what we would define as a Walmart to Whole Foods brand, that sets the table for the ability to, you know, we call it dream big, because I don't care, or we don't care, what you look like, where you live, how much money you make, where you shop. Internally, we talked about this idea of flavor knowing no boundaries. And now we can deliver that flavor in a way that's also good for you at a price point that is proving to be inelastic enough to drive real multiples off the shelf. And so you kind of have this very unique opportunity to build a business that can truly be for everyone. And I won't stop until we see people drinking our bottles from Beverly Hills to Baton Rouge and everywhere in between. And we really believe that we have something that can get there.
Yanni, you mentioned COVID, and of course, everybody was affected by that. How did you have to pivot in any way in the way that you were presenting the brand on Amazon or on your D2C to answer the consumer concern with immunity and things of that nature and hydration, or how did you fare through COVID?
Yeah, it's a good question. We leaned in. Our bottles are packed with antioxidant vitamin C. We have 100% vitamin C in every bottle. Again, we're a hydration play first and foremost, right? We like to think that water isn't boring anymore. This is truly water reimagined. And it's an area where we're continuing to lean in. We made business decisions early on. We were able to protect our headcount better than I think the competition around us. Field marketing activities were frozen for a year. We're just now getting back and leaning in there. I think the business impact was just, you had a lot of retailers that put the brakes on new authorizations, new product authorizations. And so that was ultimately a little bit debilitating for us in that our hands were tied. I mean, we went through a 3 or 4 month period where we couldn't really present, with the exception of Publix, that took our brand candidly off of a sell sheet, and the buyer giving the product to his wife, who told the buyer that this is the best drink I've ever had. And sometimes it takes a little bit of a lucky roll of the dice, if you will, Yoji. Publix is by far our biggest piece of business today. That chance that they took has worked out really well for them early on. Our Publix business in the last 3 months alone is up almost 5x. So pretty incredible what's happening in the Southeast and specifically in Florida.
Wow. In doing some research on the enhanced water category, it's estimated to hit $13 billion by 2025. Within that, what is Lemon Perfect's goal? To take what percent of that is your goal, and how do you see? Is there anything that that you guys are doing that to get there that you would want to share?
Yeah, I want it all is the answer. Someone told me last week, he said, you don't have to win by 50. And the answer is, you're right. I want to try to win by 100. It's a street fight out there, and we have to go after the competition really hard. It is as hard. Beverage is really hard. The flavored water category is even harder. We're up against, legacy brands, Vitamin Water and Hint and Bai, and Vitamin Water is running there by Coke, Bai is running there by KDP. What Karen and Theo have done at Hint is incredible, and they are doing great. So but they've been around for 16 years now. Bai is 12 years old. Vitamin Water is now 20 years old. So here we are 2 years old, And, we've got marketing budget that's, significantly less than those other brands. We're focused, having said all that, we're focused on Lemon Perfect. We're focused on what we can control every single day to go create a brand that can capture as much of that 13 billion as we can. We're not going to get it all. We want America drinking Lemon Perfect. The beverage ecosystem as a whole is still largely dominated by highly caloric and high sugar options. In our category, it's dominated by flavorless or synthetic options. We are the first, in our category, the first squeezed from real fruit, organic, full of flavor, zero sugar, and now made from 100% recycled plastic product. There's real differentiation. There's been no innovation in our category since what Ben did by in the late 2000s. There's now an opportunity for us, and we're really excited to get after it every day. Listen, if you get a 10 share of that 13 billion, you have a company based on, the revenue multiples that are out there that is probably worth somewhere around $5 billion. It would then be the biggest, or give us the opportunity to have the biggest transaction in this category that we've ever seen. Vitamin water was over 4 billion. I don't want anyone touching this company that doesn't dream that we can be the biggest one ever. Because the truth is if we are, we've changed how people consume better for you or beverage with a truly better for you option. Mm-hmm. And how magical would that be if we can create that size of a business that also creates that level of social impact and good? And that's what we wake up for every morning.
Do you see any SKU extensions beyond the water? You have now 6 different flavors, correct?
Anything that starts as liquid volume, we're open to. I don't think we'll be making protein bars, but I think anything that can start as liquid volume, that has great flavor, zero sugar, and the juice of half a California grown organic lemon, I think is in play for us. I'm really excited about the innovation that we've discussed. Not going to announce any of it here on this interview, but there's a lot of excitement behind our current 6 SKUs. We have flavor innovation on our bottles business. We have container size innovation, and there's a whole lot more product innovation behind this. Ultimately, the idea is how can we own multiple usage occasions throughout the day? If we assume that the average American has 8 beverage occasions throughout the day, how can we capture morning and mid-morning and lunch and afternoon and evening and night? And so the idea is we're gonna dream up and innovate products that allow us to capture multiple beverage occasions throughout the day over time. But we got to build a brand first, and we're very, very early in that development right now.
Yeah, Yanni, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let you get back to your day, but again, folks, we've been speaking with Yanni Hufnagel, CEO and founder of Lemon Perfect. Yanni, thank you so much for sharing your time and insights and success that you're having with Lemon Perfect. Looking forward to speaking to you again.
Can't wait. This was fantastic. And I had mentioned we're launching in Walmart. We're also launching our .com business, and we're really excited for Vendo to be a part of that growth as we continue to scale the overall business go forward.
Yes, we're excited to be partnered with you as well. And thank you. Hey, bigger and greater things are yet to come together. So thank you, Yanni.
Thanks, Yoji. We're just getting started. Have a great day.
All right, you too.